Soldiers should have the advantage here because of the quick lines of sight to be able to get in. They can pick off Reapers one by one. Well, and the Reapers get the early advantage, up 3-0. Or 4? Yeah, 3 are alive. They're going to intercept the soldiers as they run back. It may not be the wisest decision to send off one Reaper on his own. Yep, he gets easily destroyed by that group.
Get over here. Team, heal up here. Enemy sighted. Down.
2 Reapers left. Oh, tactical visor, early pop. Not a lot they could do with that. Still has most of his ult left. We should see some more coming in here, being able to pop their ults. Soldier 80, if he can get through, should be able to get a good ult off on these guys.
Fields down. And stay down.
Oh, and the Reapers counter ult with their Death Blossom.
Clearing the area.
Reapers are dominating after a bad first round. They're now up 77-0 in the third round, which would put them up to a Soldiers once again coming all in a group. Let's try and see if this Reaper, he is not able to capitalize. We're picking them off one by one, which is making it very easy. Soldiers should be able to retake it here now that they're up. They've got 3 dead, 4, 5. Oh, they're going to take it back here. They're getting it. They've got it, guys. All right, now they just need to set up in position for Reapers coming back. Reapers are not grouped up. They're coming in one by one, which is going to make it difficult for them to come back. Reaper 6 is low. He's going to die quickly. Reaper, we've got ult going on. Soul 77 is going. He's going to take them all out. 79 has ult. 79 is down. Only 1 Reaper left alive.
Enemy contact.
He gets the health back, but is it going to be enough? No. Soldiers have a great line of sight here. They're going to be able to pick off any incoming Reapers before they get in, especially if they're not grouped up. And they're separated 5v6 right now. Soldiers are completely healed up, with the exception of 78. 78 is going to drop his heal soon.
Tactical visor activated. Tactical visor activated. We all
Yeah, this is a bloodbath.
don't play by the rules anymore. Enemy sighted.
After going up 99-0, Soldiers are about to reclaim and take the lead once more. Look at Soldier 80. He's going to be good. He's going to have his ult soon, which should break down that next big push by the Reaper.
Someone had to do it. Objective is under attack. Get on it. Tactical visor activated. I've got you in my sights.
And that's going to be it. Game over.
Score 1.
Yeah. They're all Soldiers now. What's going to be our tie-breaking map? Oh, this is one favored for the Soldiers. Great lines of sight for being able to pick off people. Reapers are just going to have trouble being able to go in there and get the Soldiers and intercept them on a close range. My early bet is that soldiers will take this map early and hold it perpetually. And the soldiers are already going to start. We've got 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 or 6 down. Soldiers take that early lead, and now it's going to be difficult. Soldiers are all healed up except for 878. 78's also now healed up too. They're going to be able to pick off all these Reapers as they come in one by one.
Enemy contact. Team, heal up here. And stay down.
Look at the dance of the soldiers. They're all just keep moving.
Tactical visor activated. Fields down. Tactical visor activated. Tactical visor activated. Tactical visor activated.
Oh my god. That's going to be game right there. The Reapers are not going to be able to make it back in time. We don't have enough time for that. Which soldiers can I get play of the game? What? What's it showing for your play of the game? Of course, the soldiers don't upvote themselves. I'll be right back. There you get some water.
Chickity check microphone.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you. We're not starting for a little bit here, hey?
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna run and grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Traveling to Route 66. Prepare to attack.
What are you looking at?
It has to go to /custom game. Cheshire Cat.
All these people and their multiple names, right?
I have a strong distaste for people that don't have unified Twitter, forum, and battle tags back to this.
Yeah. Relax, you. Nothing worth having is available on Twitter anyway.
Cosmo, can you go into your settings and set up so that you can do your game sounds are higher?
PDX, do you know, is there a way for us to follow up one of the spectators' perspectives?
Yeah, so Cosmo actually figured this out. If you press F1 through F12, it will follow based upon the team who a certain person.
Right, but I don't want to follow a player's perspective. I want to follow whoever's doing the official spectator perspective, so I'm seeing the same thing that's being shown on stream.
Oh, I don't know, actually.
Can't be done, spec? Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, we won't know until you actually get in the game. Unless I need to silence all my notification shit. Alright, stream looks up.
Yeah, stream looks good. Are we basically ready to go here?
Yeah, I got everything settled on my end. Alright, so we're going to start up game 2 of the AJB Overwatch tournament. Tonight we've got the Roadhog and the Lucibros with Bones Jackson, Jonald McGee, Mistletoe, Vincent, Tehax, Jeffonius with backup Genomic. On for Team 1, we've got the We're All Jerks Now with Mad Sushi, Desmo, Diskette, Malthrin, Kaylee, and Boozy. Standing so far are the... Let's take a look. The Amazing Jerks Brigade has taken an early 3-0 lead in the standings with one set of games played. And we're going to face off tonight, starting with Ilios.
Yeah, I'm excited for this matchup. I think these two teams probably going to be a little more evenly matched than the match that we had last night. Looking forward to seeing what, in particular, We're All Jerks Now has decided to do differently tonight with the practice that they had coming in after yesterday's games.
And they've also picked up Malthrin in favor of Casimir tonight, which will bring a little different flavor to the game as well. Let's take a look. Bones, Jonald, Mistletoe, and Tehax all played together frequently, so this should be an interesting matchup to see what goes on here. We do notice that they all are having mostly the same icons, all Roadhog. It does bring some flavor to the game. All right, let's take a look and make sure that both teams are ready to go.
While we're waiting, PDX, as somebody who's obviously got a lot of experience in the game yourself, are there particular characters or comps that you're expecting to see come out on this map?
Yeah, on Ilios in particular, we're probably going to see a lot of Roadhog, especially for Well and the dig site. Those two are going to have the biggest impact, where Roadhog will have a lot of strength there. I'd also like to see some Lucio, maybe a Mercy pickup for some of the other maps. Mercy's a very strong character here to be able to give that boost and extra res. So we'll take a look to see what we get out of that.
Yeah, commonly last night, I think we noticed that the double support, Lucio and Mercy, was pretty much standard for both teams. There's very little variation away from that until the match was basically decided after the first two rounds. And in that third round, both teams opted to go to single supports on King's Row, which I don't think they'll get away with on Ilios. On a King of the Hill map, I think you need that second support.
Definitely. All right, looks like both teams are ready. We're going to go and get started here.
Okay, round one. I'm excited, guys. This should be fun.
Now arriving at Ilios.
Thanks to everybody who's taken the time out of their evenings to tune in. We appreciate that.
Definitely. All right, so we're starting in the map site, or the dig site here. So I'd expect to see, we've got some good mid-range here would be good. Soldier and Afera. Both those are going to be really strong here to be able to protect and keep those teams together.
Yeah,
There's
no
a lot
shock.
of great line of sights here for mid-range shots here.
Yeah, no shock. We see We're All Jerks Now going straight to the double support. Desmo's going to get back on Roadhog, and they're going to run Diskette on Reinhardt, which was reasonably effective for them yesterday. On the Broadhog and the Lucibros side, we've got Mistletoe opting to bring out Winston.
I like this pick actually quite a bit. Winston's bubble here can cover the entire circle in the middle of the pit, which is going to make it very strong for them to be able to have that front line defense.
Does mean them risking, though, with Double Tank and the Junkrat, only the single support, just one Lucio.
It might be fine with the amount of damage that they're going to be putting out between Bones, Teax, Jonald, and Jeffonius. So this is going to be a lot of damage for them to support. If they get an early pickoff on the support here, it's going to make a big difference in the game.
Yeah, I like the approach here from Bones Jackson's team, trying to get that wide left flank. Tehax up top, doing a lot of work on Farah. They're really quickly able to force Sushi's team back away from the pit, which is going to make the cap really easy early on.
Matt Sushi's team is playing very passive right now. They're all grouped up, trying to get a strong front line, but it's not the best place to play right now. Kaylee's down, one of their support. Boozy is getting attacked right now. Mistletoe's the only low player with Vincent. Vincent is down. The Lucibros
this-
have no support right now.
This feels like it was a big risk on Matsushi's team's part, trying to sort of spread out and take advantage of the fact that there were only they had only the single support. They did knock out the single support from Red Team, but I don't think it mattered in the long run. They're playing very grouped up, and it's, I think, costing them a lot. They need to get a good flank off here to actually pick somebody off.
Yeah, that passive play right now is hurting them. They're grouping up right now, Matsushi's team. They're going to try and come in. I think they need to swap off of that Reinhardt right now. He's not doing a lot to protect them. You'll notice that Mistletoe's going in and trying to get a little bit more aggressive, and he's pushing him back. Jonald's pumping in his ult right now, and they're comboing that with, oh my god, Wambo combo right there.
Yeah, Malthrin, though, really great job. Picks off Tehax before it does a lot. They only get Kaylee out of that Rocket Barrage. So I think the challenge here is going to be, you're right, they need to get away from this Reinhardt and worry about getting on the point rather than trying to utilize that shield.
Yeah. They've kept it up, though. Discus coming back in on Reinhardt. It's going to be tough for him to be able to be effective here because they don't have their front line is not being very effective right now.
This is a really good opportunity, though, for Team We're All Jerks now. If they come at this, they've got 4 ults available. Really good barrier goes off here. Malthrin's going to get up and do a little bit of a flank.
Let's look for this
super
Junkrat.
effective.
Junkrat doesn't get any one. It's killed by Desmond. Vincent pops his ult there. And the bubble up in the middle, as I said, giving a little extra support.
Yeah, they do still have 2 ults available. They've still got Rocket Barrage as well as the Reinhardt stun. If they can line up a nice Reinhardt stun, they may actually be able to get a successful contest off here.
All right, looks like Matsushi's team might be able to get it here.
Securing the objective.
All right,
Yeah, they're looking at 2 deaths on Team Red right now, which really is opening up the pit for them. So hopefully now they can actually push across and start to do the same thing and zone out the other team the same way they were being held off originally.
Jeff gets picked off there, being out of position with the rest of his team. Red's really spread out right now, and they're going in with 3 versus 6. That's going to be very dangerous. Teax is trying to come from behind. He picks off Matsushi. And Mistletoe, oh, here comes a big play. Kaylee mitigates it with the ult.
That's a really smart barrier, and I really like the timing on this whole hog from Desmo.
Yeah, it keeps him off the point, keeps him away from being able to contest.
Decent hammer from the Reinhardt. Good single pin. Picks off the only heals for Red Team. They just need some follow-up here, but they're down 3 on each side right now.
I think Red's probably going to be able to take it back. Malthrin backs off. He's going to group up. He's not going to be able to contest here.
Yeah, with that many targets down, the value of Zarya's immunities just massively increases in that short period where they don't have many targets to worry about.
All right, we've got 7% left, and it looks like Jeff tries to clear him back by zoning with his Death Blossom. It's going to be enough to keep him away, and then we've got the final one. That was a good ult by Zarya to keep him away from being able to charge in.
Yeah, really smart timing there, too, on the immunity on Tehax as he pulled off that really, really sort of last-minute Rocket Barrage just to stop anybody from trying to push through and create an overtime situation for Blue Team.
It'll be interesting to see what they pick here. The Roadhog's probably going to be a go-to pick for at least one of the teams. I would expect either Bones or Mistletoe to switch to Roadhog to try and get those environmental kills out of the well.
Yeah, surprised to see Boozy going away from that initial Mercy that we'd seen at the beginning of the first round. He was on a second Soldier, now switches to Reaper, which I think is really, at this point, just to try to set up an ultimate. He's going to look for the flank and see if he can't get some kind of advantage in the mid-game that way.
He's going to try and go after Mistletoe. I think they felt Mistletoe was probably their strongest, or their biggest problem at the beginning of that match. So we'll see, I'd follow Jeff to see what he tries to do. He's playing it up front really badly, which is going to make it difficult for him to pick off Mistletoe. We've got Tehax and Malthrin in the back trying to 1v1 each other. Tehax wins that battle.
Mistletoe, though, picked off over the well, which is going to allow Blue Team to move in here because they're not being zoned off the point as efficiently.
Bones is on the point with Jeff, but Jeff is still trying to frontline this, so it's not working out very well.
Oh, and Disquette, unfortunately, knocked into the well.
Excuse me for dropping in.
Looks like Red's going to take control initially here. Mistletoe back and able to force everybody off the point.
Yeah, I really feel like this Reinhardt is holding him back right now. It'd be better on a soldier or maybe a Junkrat.
Yeah, if they want to have two tanks in this position, it kind of feels like they need to do something that's a little bit more mobile than the Reinhardt. They're not getting enough value out of his positional defensive opportunities.
Yeah, his barrier is not getting broken down. It's being unused, basically. Kaylee with the ult to try and push in. Vincent counter ults here. We've got a John ult and a Jeff ult, which clears out the blue team.
Yeah, the Reaper ult is big here. Easy to pull that off when you've got the shield from Lucio. You can do that almost without risk. And now Blue's got to come back in here. They're a fair ways off from having good ults of their own yet. Boozy ready to do his own Reaper ult, and Madzushi close to having ult on Soldier. Everybody else at this point really not ready. Really good ult here from Bones on Zarya, but deflected with finally that Reinhardt shield actually showing its value.
Yeah, it still just gave them time, gave them a little bit of time to heal up. Mistletoe also went in there early to try and break it up and get a little initial damage on them. We'll notice that we've got Diskite down, which means they've got only Desmo as the remaining tank, but he's running back. So it's going to be tough for them to recover here.
Yeah, it looks like Blue is going to try to contest here, but unfortunately with only
two, they've got two, but they're 2v6.
They got to get a tank on the point here. Desmo going to get knocked around here by Mistletoe on the Winston.
Oh, that's close. He almost
Narrowly
got knocked
avoids
in.
the well.
Oh, Mistletoe almost falls in there too. We're in overtime now with the red at 99-0.
Kaylee with a critical ult for Blue here. That's going to give them one window of opportunity, but it looks like they're just going to get picked off here. Too much damage coming out from the red team, although they got 3 picks there. Sushi able to get 2 with the 76 ult. Might buy them a window here.
He might be able to get Taehax, but they've got to be able to continue contesting. They've got the objective now, but the difficulty is being hold. Boozy's low, Sushi's low, Disquette's almost dead. Any big push from red is going to knock them all off. We see Disquette fall. And then that combo between Taehax and the clutch shield on Taehax by Bones to make it so that he cannot get murdered. They're going to
twice in a
recap
row
here.
that they've captured the point using that Zarya Taehax combination very, very effectively.
Take cover. Score 0.
So quick 2-0 lead here for Bones Jackson's team. Going to be difficult now for Sushi's team to come back from this. Although this is probably of the Ilios maps the one where they've got the best chance. I wonder if they need to really rethink the Reinhardt at this point, though, especially on this part of the map.
No, actually, I feel like Reinhardt this is going to be his strongest point right now. There's a lot of narrow hallways that allow him to come in, but they've got to get out of that gate fast. They've got to get up to the choke point quickly and push it in. The difficulty here is that Taehax is very good at getting environmental kills here. And it's going to be difficult if they don't have that coordination to watch and presence to understand what's going on here.
Couple of big swaps here, though, from Sushi's team. They've gone to double Soldier 76, Boozy back on the Mercy as a solo support, and they're getting some really great initial ult charge. Blew up to 20 and 30% respectively on most of their characters.
Desmo's low, Kaylee's low, Sushi's down, though. They didn't pick anyone off with that initial burst, which is going to cause them problems. Red has strong control of the point right now.
Yeah, this has been Blue Team's problem in all 3 of these rounds thus far, is that they just haven't moved in early enough. They need to get on the point at the initial stages of the game and not allow Red to set up in position. This has happened to them in all 3 rounds. Red just able to get to the point, find control of it, as well as isolate weak targets using the flank from Taehax.
Yeah, Disquette there died pretty quickly, being isolated from the rest of his team. And Kaylee's gets picked off on her Tracer, which makes it difficult for them to really group up. They've got a limited amount of time to really push back and get back in here.
Yeah, it feels like they're just getting zoned really, really efficiently here. Red team able to keep them almost back to their spawn because they're trying really valiantly to take advantage of the positional value of the Reinhardt shield, and it's probably going to punish them here.
Jeff's going to try to go in there with a very obvious ult and died immediately.
Yeah, the teleport, I think, gave him away, and that vulnerability window just hurt him quite a bit.
Desmo is... He's not usually... He's got his ult up, and he's trying to use it, but he didn't get a single kill off of it.
Yeah, the Zarya ult there whiffed for the first time, and that actually is really, really important here for Blue. Sushi able to get a quick double using his 76 ult before he's picked off.
And the res by Boozy. Let's see what we've got. But Jeff uses his ult to great effect there.
Yeah, the triple is basically game deciding this late. There's not a good opportunity now for Blue to regroup and get on the point. They basically need to get together and force overtime on this next round of respawns.
That late death, though, really cost them because now they've got a big spread out. They're not going to be able to group up in time and get back to the point. There's just not enough time.
No, and they're being zoned so efficiently. If they're going to do it, this is their last opportunity. Desmo going to try to run in and force the overtime.
Thanks for the assist.
Yeah, he does, but it's not going to be enough. Malthrin's ult does get John ult, but it's not going to be enough to get them all.
No, Blue team down 4 players already. It doesn't look like there's going to be any opportunity here for them to contest.
Yeah.
And a quick third round as the dhog and the Lucibros close it out easily.
Yeah. I feel like that really the big thing there was that Discat staying on the Reinhardt really made it difficult for them to be able to establish presence. He was very ineffective with his shield. His nose here. That was a really good ult by Jeff to be able to go behind his shield and basically negate the benefit that he had there.
Yeah, I definitely felt like pretty much throughout the red team was getting better value from their ultimate usage, especially in terms of lining it up effectively to combo people down. Not even for Zarya alone, but in general. They just did a better job of finding ways to utilize the timing windows. Whereas I think for Mad Sushi's team, they're going to need to be a little more careful about usage. They kind of let individual players make the call, and that I think is where they're getting punished, is they're just not as coordinated. So that means Mad Sushi's team will have choice of the next map. They get to choose between Gibraltar and Kings Row for the second map. Last night, they chose to go with Gibraltar and actually played a much better game on Gibraltar, in my opinion.
All right, he's going with Gibraltar again. We'll get that set up, and then we'll take a quick break just to give him a chance to walk around and get some water. So, interesting. We'll see what they do here. I felt like they had a strong push last night against the other team, but we'll definitely want to take a look to see what they can do here. I know. I feel like Bones are probably going to end up going with that Zarya pick again, which is going to make it difficult for them to establish that front line with a Reinhardt.
So questions coming in from chat. You're watching the game from Cosimo's perspective, so he's the one who is actually running the stream. PDX is hosting the game and running the lobby, and I'm in as a spectator and the secondary commentator.
Yeah, I'm also recording the game for VOD purposes, just so that there's a backup to the backup, so we don't have the same errors from last night. Yeah, I agree with that, Zylamos. I think that is an appropriate thing that Vector should have to do.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I've had that request from this group of people. Huge group turned out tonight to watch this, guys. That's awesome.
The guy with the gun is he's probably the most effective. I feel like the guy with the bow and arrow is not a great way to play this game.
Yeah, you don't want to show up and bring a hammer to a gunfight, so...
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
Yeah, I don't think that the stream can hear Cosmo's voice, so we will point out that Xylamos said that to refer to him as Gay Dad. So, I mean, just for clarification's sake, that is what was presented here.
Today I learned.
Hummers to Jeep fights is an appropriate thing. I feel like they're a little bit more powerful. They've got more engine power and they're more armored typically.
That is woefully inaccurate, sir. Your credibility is going to be called into question.
That's fair. I'm going to go ahead and start the game up.
Okay, round 2, Watch Point Gibraltar. We'll see which team gets the opportunity to push offensively first here.
Gibraltar.
All right. Looks like we've got Bones' team on attack first, if I'm looking at this correctly. No, it's Red Team. Red Team's first, so it's going to be Matsushi on attack first. All right, so we've got the Symmetra pick for the Broadhogs. I think it's a tough one. It's possible to get set up, but with a we'll see what they've got for Red Team. If they've got any flankers to be able to cover that. I don't really. I mean, Kaylee can go searching for a teleporter, and that's probably going to be her best use there because they don't really have strong tanks. Bones Jackson on Zarya is going to be difficult for Kaylee to really counter. Don't feel like Reaper's going to be the best pick here. Malthrin on Pharah is pretty strong, and I do like the double soldier pick. There's a lot of... Taehax is going to present the biggest issue here with a lot of free room to really move around and do damage.
Yeah, I mean, Double Soldier, I think, is probably strong just to get them out the door here. I do worry about the solo support with just Boozy on Mercy. Defensive positioning opportunity here for Bones and his team is pretty strong.
A late swap to Mei for Matsushi here. That should be interesting. I don't know. I'm torn on the early double support here because the run back is just so short. Once they get to A or B, it becomes a little bit more different because the map is a little more opened up. I
do like the flanking play from Bones' team here. They're really just going to allow the first couple of inches on this payload and then jump in and start trying to pick people off in the back. This is really going to confuse the value of Disquette's shield. They can't just push as a group, which has been how they've played up to this point.
And Disquette down right now, which means they've got no frontline presence to really, other than Matsushi. And he'll go down quickly if they can get a couple good shots on him. The big problem here is they just don't have a lot of damage right now on the red team to really push forward.
Yeah, they're basically relying on Desmo and Malthrin is losing the Pharah duels to Taehax, doubly so because he's continuing to get the Zarya shields from Bones.
I actually think that if they were to swap to a Junkrat right now, they'd have a lot more strength. You look at this entire team, and 5 of them play on the ground. Jeff and Taehax is the only one that actually plays in the air. Jeff has the capacity to move around, but he's still going to be held up by those Junkrat bombs and the traps. Another good option would be to swap to a sniper, but we're not seeing many swaps right now, which is making it difficult for them to really counter this composition.
Yeah, they need to be careful here. Disquette's getting picked apart, moving out ahead of his team. And it looks like now Blue has several of their ults available. The teleporter is set up.
Yeah. It's going to be very difficult for Matsushi's team to get through this checkpoint now. I don't think Kaylee's going searching for that teleporter yet, which means that it's going to allow them to have both that res from John and the teleporter up. And it's going to make it very difficult for them to push forward.
Yeah, it just feels like at this point, Sushi's team needs to sort of regroup, and oh, that big ult from Taehax is huge. The triple just instantaneously turns this whole game on its head, and now they need to group up to even get out the door here.
Yeah.
Freeze! Don't move.
Matsushi on this Mei, I think he's doing a lot to try to be disruptive, but it's not actually changing the game very much. Although Malthrin gets a really nice pick off on Taehax there. They're now in a 6v4 situation if they can capitalize and move around this corner. Oh, the enormous ult.
Yeah. And Jeff and Tax are already back on the front line with that teleporter just to A.
Yeah, that teleporter is a really, really significant factor right now. It's allowing them to get back very quickly.
It really, I mean, the biggest thing here is it disrupts the advantage that the attacking team has in that their spawn is right next to it. With that teleporter up, it means that their advantage is completely gone. Teleporter's offline now, but Vincent's getting a lot of charges very quickly. He's already back up to 11%.
Yeah, it won't take long for them to reestablish the second one. Right now is the opportunity. Sushi's team needs to take advantage of this. They need to get some value. Even a single pick here would be good, although Boozy having res might give them some options.
They're probably going to get A here, but with all the, you'll notice on both sides of that lane, they've got a lot of teleporter, or a lot of Symmetra turrets, which is going to make it very difficult for them to push up.
Yeah, and again with just the ult timing here,
yeah.
Bones throws down the big toddler steal and allows Jeff to get the really, really nice Reaper ult. That's basically going to probably decide the game at this point.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get back in time. Desmo should have been running up, but it was too late. That last ult just really turned the game off. It ended it for him.
0-0.
Yeah, in pretty much all cases, once you've got those big ults lined up, unless you're getting singular picks, especially knocking out the support on the back line, you're going to allow them to set up a play like that. Doubly so when you're dealing with a Zarya. Zarya is the playmaker in that situation, and you know, both times able to protect either Taehax using the Rocket Barrage or Reaper when he goes into ult, and that, I mean, if they're immune to damage when they're pulling off those ults, that's a significant factor.
And Bones' team just needs to get basically to point A, and they win this game here.
Right, which would put them at 2-0, we'll go to the third map, but be interesting to see whether or not this defensive composition from Sushi's team works out. They're bringing out Torbjorn and Bastion, so they're going to go heavy on the defense. Bones' team going to be way more offensive.
They've got two static defense targets that are going to make it very difficult once the Taehax gets in position and starts picking them off. They'd have to hold them for basically 3 minutes at the spawn, and static defense here is going to make it very difficult for them to be able to do that.
Right, and Euphonius on that Genji is going to be able to do a lot of work. If he gets out and gets a decent flank coming around the left side, 1 or 2 picks, especially on those static defenders, will be massive because there won't be a Symmetra teleporter in play for this team.
Yeah, and you'll notice that they're not even playing up. They're basically set back, which means that they've seeded that first corner, essentially, and hoping that they can get in before, they can stop them before they ever get to the spawn. Boozy trying to boost here on Mad Sushi, and it's getting some effect, but Bones is about to die. Nope, gets a big heal there from Medpack.
Yeah, Euphonius gets in, but dies to Disquette. This is going to be really, really tricky now.
The shield's breaking on Disquette, and we've got... Oh, and he's going. Mistoad's going after Mercy.
There's big picks on both sides here.
Turret's their own last defense, and it goes down. There's no
the problem
front line.
now is, yeah, with Disquette sitting up top, he needs to get in there and actually try to disrupt. This is basically their only opportunity because the payload is already almost to the point that will decide the game.
Yeah.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Boozy has res and tries to get up Desmo and Mount, but it's not going to be enough. They don't have the advantage here.
No, Malthrin got a couple of really nice picks there, but Tehax gets this enormous rocket barrage, and I think this is going to decide the game right here.
Yeah, they're going to get it immediately.
Play of the match.
It's very difficult to play a static defense composition like that when you have lost that early on prior to the first point on this map, or on any map for that matter. You really, if you're going to try to make that kind of play work, you need to have the opportunity to actually stay on the payload. You can't sit back and try to wait, because as soon as they get to that corner, you're allowing them to get a pick and basically get the decision with one pick, and your Reinhardt sitting up on the ledge unfortunately doesn't get a lot of work done.
Yeah.
So we will play out the third round. King's Row is the final map for this matchup. Team Sushi going to be looking for some kind of redemption here, hopefully get a point on the board here.
We'll give it a couple more minutes before we start the next round. Get the settings corrected. Alright, so watch point Gibraltar is off, and now we're going to be heading to King's Row. So what are your thoughts from the first two games?
I mean, I think we've seen really good strategy out of Bones Jackson's team. I think they really have done a good job of coordinating ults in particular, and ult coordination has been for sure the deciding factor in both of the first two maps. We're not seeing the same level, I think, of raw planning coming out of Mad Sushi's team, which isn't to say that they're not playing well. They've had some really smart picks, and they've done what they could with the opportunities that they've opened up when they get a window. But I don't feel like their comps or their lineup has been as effective when it comes time to actually try to secure whatever the objective is, because they're not utilizing their ults in sequence the same way.
Yeah, it really feels like Bones' team has played a lot together, which is making a big difference here. They have that cohesion that isn't present, which goes to Bones' strength at being able to draft people that he knows and has played with and knows their strengths and weaknesses.
I don't even know that it's experience playing together as much as maybe the value of an experienced shot caller, right? Clearly somebody on Bones' team is timing the coordination of abilities. They're holding, you can actually watch as they hold back key abilities and cooldowns. You always see the Zarya shield go up on a secondary target when they go to ult. You always see Tehax move in and set up ult when he's at full health, has the ability to take down targets when someone is already down. He's never trying to pull that off in a 6v6 situation where he's going to be vulnerable.
Don't stream snipe. That's not cool, bro.
Do you need both a baller and a shot caller? Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree completely with Effectiveness here. Well, the shot caller is the person, he's like a point guard. He's not going to necessarily be the person shooting all the time. You're going to pass it off and give it to the person that's open. And that's what the baller is.
Yeah, the shot caller is the brains of the operation, and the baller is the one who makes the plays. Like me in PDX.
Exactly. You're the brains and I'm the beauty? Wait, what?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's why we gotta get cams up on stream so they can see your beautiful face.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen your selfie game. It's on point.
Oh yeah, I can make all the faces.
Question. Yesterday, Sushi's team did the same strategy on that last map on defense. Why do you think they went for the same strategy when it didn't work before? So their strategy on Gibraltar has been very much designed around making coordinated group plays behind Reinhardt. It feels to me, honestly, like the variable in play here for Mad Sushi's team is they've got players who are uncomfortable on multiple characters. You see some switches coming out from Boozy, from Mad Sushi, occasionally from Desmo, Kaylee as well, but we've seen Disquette basically stay on Reinhardt all the way throughout. So on that Reinhardt, it feels a little bit like if Disquette doesn't have the level of comfort on another tank or in another role that he has with Reinhardt or tanking in general, then that's a limitation that they haven't been able to overcome, and it has affected their positional game, which on Gibraltar is reflected in the fact that they're trying to use the offensive value of a shield defensively. So I think that's really the liability that's come into play for them the most.
Well, there's really two things that you can do. Two ways that you can play Reinhardt. One is to play him as a defensive tank, as someone who's there to shield. The other way is to play him very aggressively, and that can disrupt the front line and make it so that your team can move in and coordinate. What that requires, though, is that it requires that he has 2 support and he's got a good front line with him to be able to push up.
Well, and for sake of argument, right? Like in a situation like the last game on Gibraltar, what you actually probably needed was for Disquette to play the Reinhardt really aggressively and disruptively. You don't sit back and use him for his defensive value when you're playing from behind. And fundamentally, when they lost on offense before the first checkpoint, they're playing from behind. They have a very, very tough game ahead of them, and they can't afford to be, to PDX's point from earlier, playing passively.
Yeah, and I think last night, Disquette did really well at being able to, especially on King Drill, being able to play that aggressive Reinhardt, be able to push in. We need to see more of that tonight to be able to really be able to get a win out of here tonight.
Yeah, so looking at the comps coming out from these teams, defensively, Bones is staying on Zarya, Jonald is on a Soldier, Japhonius back on the Reaper, Mistletoe will bring out the Symmetra, hoping to get the Teleporter up, Tehak's back on Pharah, and Vincent running Mercy. Offensively, Boozy back on Mercy, Disquette on Reinhardt, Malthrin back on Pharah, Desmo bringing out a Soldier, Mad Sushi on the Roadhog, and Kaylee looking to flank as Genji.
I like the Symmetra pick 50% of the time here. It really depends on the player and how aggressively they play. If they can get a teleporter up quickly with their turrets and their initial attacks, they're going to be able to get that teleporter up and give that defensive team a strong front line and be able to mitigate the risk. We see Vincent go down early here, which means that unless Mistletoe can get that teleporter up within the next 5 seconds, it's going to be very difficult. He can't.
That's a big hook onto Zarya when she's not able to go invulnerable. This is actually a really nice opportunity now. Disquette able to get in, be a little more disruptive. They're aggressively going for the point. They do lose Disquette, but 2 picks.
Disquette back up.
Jonald down.
Boozy's the only one down here, but they've got Zarya's running back in. Tehax is still just disrupting him very strongly. He goes down with Malthrin and that duo. They need to take out Bones to prevent them from going back in and reestablishing that. Just kept playing up very forward, being able to push him back. They've seeded point A right now.
Yeah, Sushi's doing a really great job of giving Disquette opportunity to be a little more aggressive because they've got that really good value in a second tank, and the hooks from Sushi are allowing the positional strategy to work better because they can take advantage of the shield and bring somebody in. They've got a strong front line and a way to abuse grouping up the way they are.
Mistletoe has that teleporter up early, and it has visible from the road, but the problem here is that the benefit's already been used. He got Zarya back up to the front line very quickly, which allows him to reestablish the front line here.
There's some good flanking happening
passive,
here.
Though.
Yeah, the Tehak's flank was really effective. They were able to get Boozy picked off and taken out of the equation, which was really nice for a brief opportunity there. Japhonius in the back here on Reaper does get picked off by Genji.
Watch your backsides.
Kaylee has ult here, but I hope that she can get back and take out Vincent. Here she goes. We'll see what she can do.
Oh, this is a really big ult. Boozy gets the res. The timing on that, not great. Rocket Barrage in the back doesn't actually close anything out.
No, he doesn't. Malcolm picks him off. Well, Discat's the only one left up, and he goes down with that Symmetra.
There's a really good combo coming out from blue, but it does mean that they have no ults available. If red can get around the corner, pick off this teleporter, they do have a really nice window of opportunity here with 3 ults available. Disquette could get in here, get a really nice hammer down, and probably set up a play for them. But they've got to get into the streets. They've actually got to hold this point and fight on the objective.
The thing here, though, is that they only have 2 charges left on that teleporter. If they can get 3 people down, it's going to allow them to... Oh, and that mitigates it. Now they have to
the
get...
res is big, but there's still ults available. Malthrin still has Rocket Barrage. Disquette still able to hammer down when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah. And Tahax is still harassing their backline.
They're just getting picked off one at a time. The hammer comes out, but Disquette and Desmo picked off. The close quarters game feels like it favors blue right now with the Zarya in play.
Yeah, I really feel like they need to swap up on Natsushi's team. And get maybe a little bit more damage here. Maybe,
yeah, I think if they're going to run flankers like Genji, they've just got to get more value out of them. They're not actually getting around behind them. This isn't a position on this map where you can do a really effective flank.
This could be a dangerous ult here. And they don't capitalize, so they only get Boozies down, which is a significant get, but it's still going to make it difficult for them to really push up. Tahax gets the tank down and Malthrin down.
Really great trade to get that Rocket Barrage getting 2 for 1, and the timer is still good here for blue. They've got time to get back in, or red, sorry, to get back in.
Yeah.
But they need to capitalize on these ults. With 4 ults available, they can afford to go in here. Matsushi could whole hog, set up an opportunity for Kaylee to get around the outside.
Matsushi trying to ult here.
There's the whole hog, gets picked off.
I really think the big problem here is they keep going in through this choke point. They need to be flanking around that other side, over to where the 3 Symmetra turrets are. That would give them a real strong boost, be able to push around and flank around and cut them off.
Unfortunately, it feels like they're doing a lot to charge Bones' ult on Zarya. That ult is up constantly, and that's creating a lot of really big opportunities because this is such a key location to get value out of it. Red needs to get Zarya out of play. Kaylee goes in with the ult. She's going to look for a pick. Yeah, picked off immediately by Zarya.
Yeah, and if you look at Bones, he's at 77% on his 91%. They just keep feeding him, making it so that he's dangerous. He's very dangerous with this much power right now.
And his ult charge is coming back so quick. He's back up to 83% already. They're going to see another big Zarya ult here. And Red, again, just picked off one at a time.
Oh, and that ult.
Here it comes again.
And the combo with Tahax.
Yeah, quick double. And unfortunately, that picks off a total of 4 players because they're able to get somebody out of the equation. Disquette going to go down here as well. Sushi's team, 1 minute left here. They really need to just back off, group up, and make one concerted push. They've got an opportunity here. The only ult up for blue is on the Reaper, so they may have a chance here. If Disquette can get a big ult, if he can get into that hallway, I think it's a great chance for them to close this out. They get 2 really nice picks here. Vincent down, which means there's no res in play. Bones down as well, so there's not going to be a Zarya, and they are going to get around the corner here.
Teleporter's already back up, and he gets nice charge by Discat, but he is too late.
That's a really good trade, though, for them to get the Mercy out of the equation here. It is going to allow them to push a little bit.
Mercy's going to be back immediately, though. The teleporter's still up.
Sushi got the interrupt on Japhonius' ult, so there's no ults on blue, but red down 3 players. Desmo picks off Tahax, but dies for it.
They might be able to trigger overtime, but no.
A little too late on the overtime. They had a really nice push coming in there at the end. It actually looked like that was going to be really effective, but that teleporter value is just massive. They're not doing enough, I think, to take care of that, and the tactical opportunities that opens up for Bones' team, just you can't ignore a teleporter, especially on a map like this where the run back is so significant.
The big thing there was Mistletoe kept repositioning his turrets. Every time that they pushed the card back, he would reposition his turrets so that there was a new fresh line of turrets for them to not be able to move back in, which meant that they were every time they come in, they were getting like constant pressure damage, and they go in low.
Yeah, ultimately, they probably could have chosen to give up the Symmetra with the position they were in after they lost that second teleporter, but the turrets alone were getting so much value and giving them the information about the flanking pads as well.
Let's see what they go here. Matsushi swapped to the Reinhardt. Let's see what Disquette goes to this time.
Interesting. I think they're just maybe having a little fun here, as you see Desmo Kaylee bringing out the double Torbjorns. So I think they're going to be looking just to try and be a little bit annoying and keep this point from being capped easily. Still no sniper from either side, which especially on this map surprises me.
Well, as I said on Gibraltar, the static defense is going to be difficult for them to be able to handle. Tehax is very strong at being able to pick off those turrets. And even if they get the problem is he's going to have to manage getting both of them down, and they need to be in strategic locations so that they can't both be taken out by the same line of sight position.
Yeah, we'll see. If they're able to do anything with them, it'll be keep them from getting value off of the flank with Euphonious on Tracer, and also hopefully get some damage into Tehax as he comes in from up top.
The important thing about playing a Torb here is that you need to play it aggressively. You can't be sitting back and babysitting your turret. If you do that, you're just going to get picked off.
Yeah, they lost Desmo really early here, and I think that's going to be a big problem because now Blue able to get through the initial choke.
Matsushi playing very aggressively right now on Reinhardt in that medpack room. Matsushi gets the Mistletoe.
Big. They might lose Sushi, but he is already almost 3/4 of the way to ult. Boozy going to have res here momentarily. Vincent has res already, but they'll probably hold that.
Watch this, Jeff. He is going after their Mercy very hard, and he's focusing on making sure that they don't have that res available. Matsushi goes down.
Big ult, but Boozy counters it immediately.
And goes down. That is why they changed that Mercy ult. Dies immediately.
Yeah, they were able to bait that ult out very quickly, and this is going to be an immediate cap on A. With no teleporter to get back in the action,
yeah,
you've got to wait for this big run back. Sushi's team is going to push to get back as quickly as possible, but basically everybody now has to take position and hold this next choke as the payload comes through this narrow hallway. And I think Euphonious on Tracer can flank more efficiently than Kaylee did on Genji.
Well, and that Kaylee just tried to get her turret down and it got destroyed immediately twice by Mistletoe's blast, which means that they don't have that static defense. They're playing effectively 5v6 right now.
Yeah, Tehax gets the double pick. Big res here from Vincent. This again, I think is... Yeah, big ult. Sushi's team again, just they're staying too far back from the payload, trying to take advantage of optimal positions, but they're not able to actually keep the payload from moving forward. With 5 minutes to keep this thing from moving 8 inches, it's not going to happen for them.
It was a tough game.
Yeah, they played it super well, in my opinion. They just, I think, didn't maybe have the same strategic value. Double Torbjorn didn't do a lot of work for them, and not having that Symmetra teleporter has been just the most significant thing. Their defensive positioning not as good, and their run back so painful by comparison.
Yeah. And these Zoriels just over and over again. Perfect, almost completely negating that res there.
I think the Zarya ults probably decided more of what happened in the game than just about anything else. So that does mean that dhog and the Lucibros are going to take this 3-0. They played a super nice series. I think they've got probably among the better strategic lineups, and the way they've played that just worked out so well. I think that Zarya did more work for them than just about any other character under any other player that we've seen so far in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very strong play by Bones there. And with that, that puts them tied with ties them with Amazing Jerks Brigade 3-0. And now we've got an interesting lineup with Matsushi's team going down 0-6. He's going to need to pick up some games off of the Precision Jerk Engineering and the Cheers Love. The Jerks are here.
They're not out of the tournament by any stretch yet. They've still got 2 rounds to bring it back, and all they need to do is get some game score on the board.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. Next game is going to be Friday at 7:30 Pacific time. Thanks all for watching. I appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, it was great having a big audience.
Yeah,
We appreciate
Casimir
it. A lot of
immediately
fun.
pinged me on
And if
IRC.
you guys do have any questions,
So
let
he
us
was
know.
glad he sat
Otherwise,
out.
we will see you on Friday.
Oh my god! It was like
Thanks,
before
all.
we started, someone said, "Okay, all I have to do is target Kaz because he's our only damage," and then someone said, "Oh look, they've